Krown Produce supplying select Canadian retailers. Krown Produce, proud sponsors of Canada West Football and Canadian University Countdown on Shaw.
And welcome to another edition of Krown Canadian University Countdown. I'm Jim Mullin. Well, it was all quiet on the Western Front. Canada West was in a bye week, but the real game that everyone was focusing on was the battle on the Plains of Abraham, the Battle of Quebec between Laval and Montreal. Tell us about it, boys.
Plains of Abraham.
I think I got to brush up on my Bible studies. I think that's where Jim Mullin's been those last couple of weeks.
I think so. Thanks a lot, Reverend Mullin.
So it was a modern-day clash of the Titans between the conference's two unbeaten teams as the Caribans traveled north to face the Rouge et Or. Rotran Senning and the Caribans facing off against Pascal Lachard and his Rouge et Or. Check out the two teams beforehand. Lots of finger-pointing going on between them. Clearly, these two sides will not be hanging out at the campus pub after this one. Early in the first queue, and it's the home side who strike first on play action. Tristan Grenal fakes out the entire Montreal line, tosses up this gem to Guillaume Rayou, takes it to the house. That's a 59-yarder. Check out the fake. Even the cameraman bid on it. Whoa, where are we going? Where? Yeah, there we go. All right. Oh, yeah. Yep, we got it. He's in the end zone. Nice work, boys. 3 minutes later, and Grenal channels his inner Freddie Mercury under pressure. See what I did there, Ryan? Get it? Queen under...
I like it. All
right, finds Lachard, who rumbles his way into the end zone. Rouge et Or now up 14-0. Montreal without a Rouge, and this 42-yarder from B-squared, Boris Beatty, made it 18-1 Laval at the half. Second half now, and this would be the capper as Alexander Nadeau-Pius gets flushed out of the pocket, fumbles the biscuit. Sammy Hebert picks it up. He's off. That's a 43-yard major. The Sea of Red celebrates as Laval stomps the boys in blue.
Sherbrooke pivot Jeremy Doyon rocks squaring off against Concordia's Reed Quest and his flowing blonde locks, making Jim Mullin jealous with that hair. Early in the first, the visitors go to work down 3-0. J-Rock goes deep to Sebastian Blanchard. Numero uno makes an outstanding grab. First down, Sherbrooke. 2 plays later, it's David Dumas-Goulet. David Dumas-Goulet takes this dump pass from Doyon Rock. You don't even blink. That's 22 yards right there. Very next play, Vinny Clayroux-Goudreau hauling in this 9-yard pass for the major. Verrier take a 7-3 lead. This game featured 11 total turnovers on the day. This one of 6 fumbles by the Stingers as Jamal Henry has the ball popped loose. Sherbrooke pounces on the biscuit, which leads to this piece of history from Verrier kicker William Dion. He boots this 30-yard field goal, becomes the CIS all-time record holder for field goals in a career with 72. Is that Gangnam Style?
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
whoop. Sexy lady. The game takes a break for a moment to recognize the achievement, of course, before the end of the half. Rock, right in the midst of Francis Lapointe. That made it 28-6. Sherbrooke tacks on 20 more points, taking this one in a walk. Rock spread out the offense, connecting with 9 different receivers on the day.
McGill won its second game of the year after beating Bishops. The Redmen will host Concordia in the McGill homecoming game for the 44th annual presentation of the Shaughnessy Cup that happens this weekend. So Laval is now the only unbeaten team in the queue. Montreal is alone in second. Sherbrooke back to even with its win, while McGill is vying for a playoff spot with that big win over Bishops.
Let's head over to the OUA, shall we? The Guelph Griffins had a very nice chance of grabbing sole possession of the number 3 spot in the conference this past weekend with a loss. However, should they get selfish and decide to win, they'd pull into a tie for the number 2 in the OUA, solidifying them as legit contenders heading into the halfway mark. So we head to Guelph now. Western Mustangs, Guelph Griffins. Western was down 33-7 at the half, but this 9-yard run from Garrett Sanvito would cut into the Griffins' lead just a tad. Move to the 4th, and it's Sanvito once again. Rolls to his right, can't find a hole, puts the brakes on, re-strategizes. He is gone. My voice is cracking. That's how nice it was. It's his second major. Suddenly the Stangs are down just 3. Guelph goes 2 and out on this next possession, and then Daniel Ferrero fumbles the snap. Western pounces on the pigskin, turns into another touchdown for San Vito. Purple Ponies now lead by 3. However, late in the game with the score knotted at 39, Jazz Lindsay goes deep for Michael Fortino. What a catch near the sideline. Absolutely beautiful. Sets up a 27-yard field goal. Guelph hold the fort, beating Western in a thriller. With the loss, the Mustangs fall to 500, 2 games behind Queens and Guelph in the standings.
Hey, I think you're getting a little peach fuzz above your lip there. It's good to see that your voice is cracking. Finally, things are working out for you. For the first time ever, the York Lions played under the bright lights in York Stadium. Kyle Quinlan, the number 1 ranked team in the nation, go into the Lions' den and they start to take control. Already up 6-0. Kashawn Davis Reynolds puts together this 38-yard scamper. That would be the first of 2 scores on the day for KDR. Marauders up by 13, and they wouldn't let up either. Early in the second Q, Quinlan fires a strike over the middle, and Tyler Loveday hauls in the bullet. That's 7 more for the boys in maroon. It's now 20-0. Later in the Q, and Quinlan throws the dagger, hooking up with his favorite target, Brad Fushisado. That's a 62-yarder. Mac turns out the lights on York, smacking those Lions by 40. Marauders pass rusher Brad D'Aguilar had a sack on the day, bringing his season total to 11.5, which now puts him just a half sack behind, matching the single season record, CIS record that is, of 12.
Queens, Windsor, second half action here. Gales up 8-0, and Gales backup QB Ryan Mitchell airs one out for Giovanni Aprile. This made it 15-0. Queens wins its second in a row, handling the Lancers with ease. The 3-headed monster McPhee, Chapdelaine, and Granberg were their usual selves for the Gales. Queens will be in tough next week, though, when they face off against the surging Griffins.
If you're a big fan of the field goal, well, this game is for you. Waterloo and Laurier Golden Hawks playing host to the Warriors. Earlier in the first Q, G-Hawk Steve Phantom hits Alex Anthony, who makes an unreal crab catch of the year. Wait, no, it was ruled incomplete. Anthony can't believe it. Brutal call by the Zebras. Phantom would go right back to AA on the next play, which would set up this 32-yard boot from Ronnie Pfeffer. 3-0 Laurier. Next series for Waterloo. They march the ball down to the Laurier 5-yard line, but like Ryan on a Saturday night at the Roxy, they would be denied not once, not twice, but 3 times. Huge gamble results in nothing for the visitors, and it would prove to be costly. G-Hawks defense would feast on Waterloo's QBs all day. Here, Chris Aki breaks through, gives Brian Chris a lick. He's feeling good about that one. Then it's Brian Avani who tosses backup QB Jamie Cook like a sack of doorknobs. Check out the nonchalant celebration. Act like you've been there before, boy. Second half now, and Pfeffer finishes off the game, launching this 44-yarder. He would go on to kick 2 more field goals as Laurier shuts out Waterloo at home. The win brings the G-Hawks back to the 500 mark. They'll face a big test next week when they travel to Western to face the Purple Ponies.
Denied only 3 times, that sounds like a pretty good night. Ottawa, Toronto, the GGs off the snide, winning their first game of the season. Aaron Colbon connects on 50% of his passes, throwing for just under 200 yards, but the day belonged to Brandon Galanders, who gained 114 yards on 25 carries, scoring 3 touchdowns. Over to the OUA standings board we go. McMaster, no surprise here, still atop, 6-0, undefeated. Guelph has won 5 in a row since dropping their season opener, and of course Western, as mentioned, sitting at 500 after the loss this past weekend.
The Axemen traveled to meet the X-Men in what I'm coining as the Men Bowl. And this about sums up how this game went. St. FX QB Clay Maskowicz had the Acadia defense in his face all day long. Maskowicz tossing this pick to Drew Morris, and he's off 106 yards on that pick 6. The Axemen chopped down the X-Men en route to their 3rd win in a row.
Mount Allison, St. Mary's, the Lady Bowl, if you will. St. Mary's home to Mount Allison, and this run solidifies pretty much how the entire game went. Melvin Abankwa picks up 1/3 of his total rushing yards on the day, scoring this 53-yard major. The Huskies with their 2nd straight W, stomping Mount A. To the AUS standings board we go. Acadia at the very top. They've won 3 straight. They're at 4-1. St. Mary's 2-3 in second, and of course followed by Mount Allison and St. FX battling for the bottom. All right, and there you have it.
You know, during the commercial break, I think I'm going to have to brush up on my Old Testament.
Not a bad idea, not a bad idea. Throw it back to Jim, 2 of every animal on the Ark Mullin.
When we return, a guy who was probably on that ark, Scott Flory in Pro Profile.